People are going to look back on 2026 and go, oh my God, imagine if I bought a house in Japan during that time. That's exactly what we're saying to our grandparents now about the houses they bought back in the day for 60 grand. Now, I'm not a financial analyst and I'm just a carpenter, but I have a Japanese wife and a business. I'm planning to move to Japan, so I have constantly had my ear to the geopolitical noise and focusing on the economy, the history, and everything about this topic because my family's life depends on it. I know this is a wicked unpopular opinion, but just hear me out, stick through to the end of the video. I'm gonna zoom way out and I've got some really basic reasons of why I think Japan property is extremely underrated in today's market. There's something that you aren't able to make more of, just like Bitcoin. I'm telling you right now, they're not gonna be able to create brand new property in the greater Tokyo area. Let's start off by zooming way back out to the late 80s when Japan was in its absolute peak glory day during their peak bubble, and the two richest guys in the world were Japanese property owners. Yoshiaki Tsutsumi and Taikichiro Mori were basically like the Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk back in the day. Now, what happened was the bubble burst in Japan during this time, and they entered what's called the lost decades. If you know anything about Japanese economic history, you know that they've been suffering through multiple decades of a stagnant economy that hasn't grown, has just been staying the same this whole time while the rest of the world has come up. Now, why do I think the Japanese property economy is going to bounce back to what it was in the day? And for reference, the Imperial Palace of Tokyo's land was worth more than all the property in the state of California combined at the time. I have a few reasons, so just bear with me here for a second. So reason number one is their demographic crisis. Everybody knows that Japan has a demographic crisis. It's got one of the most aging populations, and they seriously need a young labor force to support the economy and continue, society to function as we know it. Now, right now, Japan is about 97% Japanese and 3% foreigners. Now, let me just put a cap in that for a second and mention that the American economy is purely fueled by the fact that we sell all other poorer countries a dream that you can come to America and you can make it and it's safe. Now, it's no secret to any of us, especially those my age and Gen Z, know that this dream is smoked, okay? It is no longer a thing that people are believing in, and selling it to even other countries is slipping. Okay, 150 grand a year in the US is getting by. It's not living a fulfilled life. That's just the truth of it. I mean, you can rage me in the comments if you want, but I don't agree. 150K a year doesn't get you shit. It might get you an apartment and it might get you by, but that's about it. Now, Japan's economy doesn't have to make a booming comeback in order for this to happen, and that's what I really want to drive home in this video. The only thing that needs to happen is all the other countries around us just need to experience the same stagflation that they've experienced. And guess what? We're all right in the heat of it right now. I feel like all of us living through the American economy right now are akin to lobsters in a pot that had the stove turned on and they're slowly being boiled without realizing it. And guess when they turn the stove on? Right in COVID. And right now, it's getting warm and we're starting to feel it. But at this point, it's too late for a lot of us. I'm just being honest. If you've ever thought about buying property in Japan, or you think the grass might be greener on the other side, people around you are going to try to tell you the grass isn't always greener on the other side, man. But sometimes it is. And sometimes you can get in just before it gets really green. And that's what I'm thinking the Japanese property market is right now. There are 132 million Japanese people and 9 million vacant homes. It wouldn't take too crazy of an immigration influx in order to cap that out and drive demand. And like we see with something like Bitcoin that has a limited supply, just like land in the greater Tokyo area has a limited supply, what happens? It goes from being something that everyone can get, and then as soon as it's something that becomes a bidding war, that's when we see a hockey stick curve. And by the time you see the hockey stick curve, it's too late. Now, another point that I want to drive home is something that major investors like Warren Buffett have said. I'm loosely quoting here, but basically they say that smart money goes to predictability and safety. Now, all Japan has to do is stay predictable and safe, just like it always has been. And the second it's more of an allure for people from India, people from Europe to decide that it's better to, move to Japan and buy a property and try to make a way of life than it is to move to America, then that is going to be the land of opportunity. And as soon as your country becomes the land of opportunity, it's going to get crowded quick. Now, I know that Japan isn't crazy on immigration and there's a lot of bureaucracy and it's not very easy to move there and all that, but the fact is that they have a demographic crisis that they have to address. And they're going to make a tough decision if it saves them. Japanese people aren't the type of people that I want to bet against. If you are going to bet against the Japanese culture just laying down for the count, you're goofy. And for $60,000 to buy a Japanese home, right now there's a Karen out there who's signing a car loan for a $900 a month Jeep that's about the same price as a house in Japan. Couldn't be me. So if you've ever been thinking about buying property in Japan, or if it's a place you visited and liked, or you really like Japanese architecture and carpentry like I do, or even if it's just a vacation home, I think now is the Goldilocks zone for buying a property in Japan. Besides, the houses in America are straight trash. I would know. I build these things. I see what other contractors put up. Straight up junk. They try to get the max for the minimum. The houses in Japan, even though they have a little bit of a shorter shelf life nowadays, they're built to accommodate the family. They're built for comfort. It's a cozy way of life. I think a lot of people in other countries, America included, are going to start seeing that. They're going to start seeing that the grass actually might be greener on the other side. And people are going to seriously start considering moving to another country. It didn't used to be as popular of an idea as it is now because it wasn't as easy, frankly. We're living in 2026. People make money online. People do all kinds of different things where it's not so insane to pack up your family and start life somewhere else. In fact, it's been proven to be one of the most exciting and life-changing things that a lot of people have done that have done it. Let me know what you think about that one. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. I'm just a carpenter. I got a Japanese wife, and I'm interested in the property over there. So yeah, this is something that I pay attention to. Sometimes people with too much financial knowledge look at stuff too closely. And if maybe you're somebody that's a little bit blue collar like me, regular Joe, and you're zooming out looking at this stuff, it's kind of trending towards America's going down and Japan is looking like a great, safe opportunity to raise a family, to raise children, to eat healthy food, to live in a safe society. All of these things are going to entice people to choose to move there. It's not going to happen overnight. This isn't something that's going to rush and be an influx of foreigners. Because Japanese bureaucracy doesn't allow that. What I am saying is that over the coming years, they're going to slowly institute changes that make immigration more accessible. There's going to be more job and visa opportunities for foreigners, and then house prices are going to become in higher demand, just like they were in the 80s when things were booming. I might be sounding like a broken record here, but like I said, Japan doesn't exactly have to take off into an economic boom in order for the property to become value again. The only thing that has to happen is that all of our property and all these places that are starting to suck more and more has to go down. And the quality of life and the safety and the trust in our society here has to go down just enough to make this place less desirable than there. And the accessibility to Japan has to increase, which I think it will because they have no choice. Japanese people have something that a lot of us Americans, sadly to say, don't have. We've been raised as capitalists from a little kid to think that we are the one important thing and we're going to grow ourselves to be unique. But in Japan, it seems that kids are raised to ask the question, what value can you provide to the group? And I'm certainly not betting against a culture that has that kind of resolve. America's only 300 years old. Japan's been around for thousands of years. They kicked Genghis Khan's ass twice. The United States has only been around for 300 years, and we've already seen a nuclear speculative rise in our property in just the last 30. So to say that the property in Japan can't become globally valuable again is a little bit goofy. I'm not trying to make this a hope core video and a Japan fantasy, and I'm certainly not telling you that you're going to get rich, because what the hell do I know? What I am saying is it's time to start looking around a little bit and seeing that America is on the decline big time, and who knows what this place is going to look like in 10 years. I'm certainly not making a 30-year mortgage bet on the place, and I don't think you guys should either. I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you're thinking about moving to Japan, you like Japanese property, or you like Japanese carpentry like I do, come chat with the fellas in the Discord. Otherwise, peace.